What's going on now? Hey. I didn't realize how much stuff Ugh. Was not prepared for this. Should have been more prepared. We'll be prepared in the future. That's how we take it. Sorry for neglecting anybody if you're watching in the future. I was just very much struggling. I gotta say, the struggle was real, very real. How does it sound here? My audio mixing is horrible. How does it sound here? Why is it so bad? Audio mixing is horrible. Okay, we're just gonna hope. We'll hope. Watching it on my phone, just how it sounds. Yeah, it's scuffed, but it's okay. Alright, we have let the Discord know. Is anyone from Discord? Welcome. Welcome. But you're probably not gonna see this yet. Okay. Let's just full screen that puppy. Okay. You're ready to start. Why is this coming out of my... Oh. This is just super loud. Okay. Holy moly. We're turning that way down, guys. That's crazy. Okay. Okay. Now that we got most, hopefully, stuff completed. We can start. I thought I had another issue, and I was scared for a second. But here we are. Okay, so I should preface something. Two things. One, this is a blind playthrough. I did play the intro, but we'll do it again. And two, I have watched all of Higurashi. I have read everything except for the last episode of Yubi Neko, because I'm playing with a friend, and it's just taking way too long, so that's why I'm playing Ciconia by myself, because I just want to do it, and it sounds fun. Oh, and there's one more preface. This is not supposed to be on this channel, but I can't live stream yet on the one I was planning on. So there's that. We'll change it up next time. So if you're here now or later, I'm gonna change it. All right, and that's all I got. All right, that's all she wrote. All right, now I'm going to be voice acting the characters, all of them. Yes, I know, crazy. And I'm also going to be enjoying the story, maybe talking about it here and there, but maybe not, because sometimes people just want to enjoy the story. So we'll find out. All right, thank you guys if you're watching, and let's start. Once I get in the comfy position. All right. I was about to say welcome to Rokenjima. This is not Rokenjima. This is somewhere. It's somewhere. It is in the future. That's what I know about Ciconia. It is a futuristic differentiation, since the other works are mostly fantasy, I would say. Okay, let's play. Prologue.
07 Expansion presents. To fly freely at the speed of sound like a fighter jet. To fearlessly withstand all attacks like a tank. To wield the weaponry of a fortress, a warship. What if all these superpowers were compressed into the left arm of a single soldier? I'm not talking about some sort of comic book hero. What you're looking at is the next generation of soldiers who will defend world peace. The Aerial Augmented Infantry, otherwise known as the Gauntlet Knights. This elegant gauntlet worn on the left arm and reminiscent of medieval knights contains all the weapons and technology of humanity has given birth to thus far. It controls all 8 MS in their bodies and surrounding air, enabling them to free themselves from laws of the surface world and surpass them. The video showed a lone boy soldier wearing a gauntlet on his left arm, standing on a massive airstrip. I'm going to do my normal voice for the narrator because that's just going to be way too much to do voices for. But everybody else can be voiced. It whistle blew and his body floated upwards, about 10 centimeters.
He literally was floating. Cutting-edge ADMS techniques made it possible to create and control force fields, releasing his body from gravity. The whistle blew again, and his floating body danced like a bird, flitting about the space over... Oh, flitting the space over there. Should have got it well.
Gauntlets give soldiers the same ability as an aircraft. Their maximum speed is nowhere near and inferior to the best fighter jets from around the world. And the powerful Gs that would normally put a harsh burden on them have been eased thanks to the anti-G ADMS in their bodies. This allows them to fly in ways pilots of existing aircrafts could never even dream of. And when taken to an extreme, even ricochet flying is possible.
The video changed scenes. A Gauntlet Knight practicing in the skies above the training grounds was being recorded from behind by a friendly plane in pursuit. One moment, the Gauntlet Knight was flying in the elegant, familiar way of a plane, and the next, its trajectory became complicated and bizarre as if it was being bounced at odd angles like the diffuse reflection of light. Because it looked like they were rebounding fiercely off the walls of a pipe as they flew, this was known as ricochet flight. As the word ricochet suggests, the Gauntlet Knight kept flying at fierce, sharp angles without losing any of their speed. Normally flying this would put enormous G's on their brain and all over their body, likely killing them instantly.
However, AMS Tech has freed them from all of the ground's restrictions. AMS Tech has freed whoopsies. Even amazing mid-air movements like these are now possible. And I want you to pay close attention to this footage. This is a fire control system trying to target a Gauntlet Knight. As it tried to target the ricochet flying Gauntlet Knight, a computer-controlled sight indicator with prediction lines kept appearing and disappearing. The Knight's movement, which ignored the common sense of physics, confused the fire control system, and it was completely unable to lock onto its target. All fire control systems created so far were completely useless against the Gauntlet Knights. Though they can display this level of mid-air mobility, Gauntlet Knights are not planes. They truly are infantry, aerial augmented infantry. Their ability to land and take off is completely unrestricted, so they can carry out tactical operations anywhere a human is able to stand.
By this point, Gauntlet Knights already possessed all the strengths of fighter jets, VTOL aircrafts, and helicopters.
So then, what about their weaponry? You're probably thinking that regardless of their mobility, they'll be completely useless if they don't change, or have the firepower to take down their targets. But when it comes to Gauntlet Knights, that's an utterly needless concern. The Dimension container system brought about by cutting-edge 4DP technology made it possible for a person to take massive arsenals of weapons and ammunition with them. The scene
Why do I keep doing that? The scene changed. A boy soldier who was apparently a Gauntlet Knight stood still in what looked like a vehicle service station. Set about him in a radial patterns were all sorts of weapons and ammunition, like a weapon bargain sale. There were rows and rows of missiles, designed for fighter jets, just as many precision smart bombs, and even several heavy torpedoes designed for major warships. This was clearly more weaponry than your average fighter jet. Furthermore, there were howitzers and their ammunition laid out alongside them, as well as multi-barreled machine guns with ammo belts folded several times over. And that wasn't all. There were also reconnaissance drones, several types of signal flares, ammunition, resupply containers, and various construction kits with everything down to the slightest detail packed in.
This massive set of military ordnance can all be carried by a single Gauntlet Knight, and if they specialize in carrying capacity, they can fit in the same amount of weaponry as an attack carrier. Witness the armament of a battleship and the mobility of a fighter jet. This is a Gauntlet Knight. But that's not all. They also possess an ultimate technique that cannot be reproduced with any current existing weaponry. Watch and learn.
The scene changed, and it now appeared to be an outdoor shooting range. The same Gauntlet Knight boy soldiers stepped forward. Several adult soldiers stood aside by some distance away, all guns at him. Immediately after, a whistle blew. The sound of gunfire and smoke rushed towards the boy, as though a bunch of firecrackers had been set off. That was it. Nothing happened. It was a bit of a letdown.
Do you understand what just happened? Let's slow down a bit.
The same scene was replayed in super slow motion. Bullets really were launched from the soldiers' guns. However, they were all bounced back along with a white glow from a spot directly in front of the Gauntlet Knight. Next time a whistle blew, a soldier who had been lying prone and wielding a light machine gun sent a signal, then laid down a powerful barrage. It was so fierce you could see what was happening clearly now, even without the slow motion.
This is the invincible defense gauntlet Knights proudly wield.
The rejection shield. I thought it was actually called Gauntlet. Alright. The scene changed again. The same soldier boy was standing in a different part of the shooting range, but this time, the camera was far away from him. After a countdown, the boy was swallowed up by a massive explosion, like something out of a Hollywood film. But when the flames disappeared, he was still sitting there with a blank expression as though nothing had happened.
An invincible defense. And easy control over the skies. And the ability to use endless weapons at will. And every little bit of that is all compressed into a single Gauntlet Knight. In this era, the numbers representing the military might of nations will surely shrink drastically. All we need to know is how many talented Gauntlet Knights each nation has.
The screen changed several more times, showing various scenes of Gauntlet Knights training. Sometimes they led fighter jet formations, and sometimes they led aircraft carrier feats. Also, I hope the audio is not too loud on either side. I tried my best with the little time while I'm trying to make the deadline. But if it happened, we'll try to correct that in the future. I'll definitely be prepared for next time. That sucked. Then they landed gently on the ground, surrounded by a tank division.
Come on, boys and girls, yearning to become defenders of peace. Wouldn't you like to join those who would stand at the head of all militaries of peace, blazing the way into a new era? The aerial augmented infantry awaits you. The moment you put a gauntlet on your left arm, you will become a Gauntlet Knight. Very nicely made. Do you think you could get it a bit shorter, though? My back starts to hurt.
The old officer rose from his seat in the projection room, rubbing his back. A young, voluptuous female officer who seemed to be private secretary helped him up. No, sir. You cannot make it any shorter in light of regulations.
Is that so? Very well, very well. By the way, kids like explosions, right? Bang, boom, and all that. We've got to add more flashy scenes. Also, the hook in the first 15 seconds is important, understand? I studied film back in the day, so I know all about it.
When the old officer started talking proudly, the other officers all took out notepads at once and made a show of writing it down diligently. Tokanogi! Yes, reoccurring character. Look at this moronic project. As if just putting a robot toy on the line could turn anyone into a superior being. Oh, it's him talking?
In the first place, these aerial augmented infantry things are still just theoretical. If it was just a prototypical system where individual flight wielded by specialty troops, that'd be realistic enough. But then you throw in a one bit of ridiculous technology after another and call them Gauntlet Knights. What are these, superheroes from an American comic book?
True. There weren't any lies in their catalog specs. They could fly like fighter jets, carry weaponry like battleships, and set up invincible barriers like tanks. In our propaganda video, the brat looked like he was flying around happily. Still, the shock reduction provided by anti-G8MS is invincible. It did a bit too much ricochet flying, and after the shoot, the capillaries in his eyeballs ruptured, eventually rendering him unconscious. Apparently, if they'd filmed it in one take, we'd probably still be able to see. Yeah, I love Rikishi's writing. Like, he just knows. He just knows how to describe situations. Even the dimension container, which worked like a 4-dimensional pocket, kept having issues. Just how many brats have been turned to mincemeat when they tried to open it up and then immediately got hit by an exploding where they could fire up their rejection shields. Even that rejection shield has only become stable very recently. If it doesn't work perfectly when a brat's flying at 100 kilometers an hour, all it takes is a lazily flying pigeon to smash their heads to bits.
Well, we'll soon have plenty of brats to work with. Put up flashy heads at least look good. And you'll find out the stupid kids you need. After all, anyone would want to do it. If I'd been in my teens and someone told me I could become the face of an entire military flying into the sky, I'd be screwed too. Still a bird in that hand's worth 2 in the bush. In the end, it'll just be an e-sport where you can't really fly outside the simulator.
By the way, aerial augmented infantry boy in the video really is young and bold. I'd like to get a chance to meet him. Do you think you could bring him to dinner tonight?
Well, that sounds excellent. Captain Okanogi! Major General, sir. I'm afraid to say that he's already perished in the line of duty.
What? Is that true? What a shame. He looked magnificent, so I was hoping to give his career a boost. Too bad, too bad.
Truth be told, that exciting scene in the video just now was also the scene of his death, Major General, sir. Let me said it was a bit too rough, so he must have been overworked. Screwed up with his shield during the flashiest scene at the very end. He said that we were forced to edit it to make it look like he'd survive a massive blast. God damn it, it's not like we've got the budget for this kind of thing. Sir, it's about time you went to, huh?
Oh, okay. Well then, keep up the good work, everyone. Also, everyone's eyes will be on the aerial augmented infantry division at the Battle Standard Festival, so make sure you give it your all. By the way, I believe the contestant from here in Japan will be representing the AOU, correct?
Ooh, CGI.
Yes, sir. It's Second Lieutenant Mitake Miao of the 017th Aerial Augmented Infantry Squad Warcat. Damn it, if that skinny brat's supposed to be representing the rising sun at the International Battle Standard Festival, this world is really screwed.
Welcome to A3W's When They Cry. Ciconia, When They Cry. Whoo! Alright. There was the prologue. If you haven't seen it, yeah, that's our introduction to it. It's very intriguing on where they're gonna go with this. I know it's a bit old. Well, jeez, 5 years old now. That's weird. It is a bit older, but compared to his other works, it's very strange, the sci-fi feel, because fantasy they could just make, spoiler, kinda. They can make reviving magical event, but with this, how are they gonna do it? If they will, actually. Like, it's a staple in When They Cry, so I'm assuming they are, but it's definitely weird. Warning, this work was created in Japan in the year 2019. We cannot guarantee that position of this work in the country you currently live in conforms to your country's current laws, which I believe it does. So, yeah. Furthermore, if possession of this work results in any sort of damages, we cannot be held responsible for compensation. Additionally, distributing this work on the internet without the creator's consent is forbidden. You must agree to pay us 10 million Japanese yen if you break this rule, which is about $100,000. If you do not agree to take personal responsibility for owning and reading this work and the risk involved in doing so, we ask that you uninstall immediately. This is a work of fiction. Any similarities to real individuals, group, religion, all of creation, the will of the universe, plans of God, and Vatican document number 34 are entirely coincidental. This work does not approve of any specific ideology, nor does it represent the ideology of its creator. Puyo puyo. To all video uploaders, that's me. For the first phase, you must have permission. You have permission to record and distribute videos up until the end of the 7th chapter, Puyo. I'll let you know when you get there, Puyo. I will record up till that point, like it says, unless I see otherwise. that they allow it, but I don't know. So we'll find out. The top of Super Tokyo Tower sat 666 meters above the ground. Surrounding it, the scenery of the night stretched as far as the horizon. The hustle and bustle of the surface didn't reach this place, nor did its troubles and complications. The sky is the only place we can be truly free. There on top, the antenna mast at the peak of the tower. Character.
And there, the atop antenna mast at the peak of the tower, I stood. My fear of heights is now little more than a fond memory. Of course, that's not really such a great thing. In your everyday life, if you jump out a third-story window and seriously hurt yourself because you can't be bothered to go down a staircase, well, that's just a joke among people like us, but a pretty common one. Just to check, I glanced at my left arm. It was clad in a bulky contraption that resembled some piece of European armor. That device, which extended from my shoulder to my fingertips, was unsurprisingly called a gauntlet. Knowing it was there meant that I could relax and forget about the laws of physics. Phew. I let out a deep breath and gathered my wits.
I do have a higher pitch that I could do. I'm just saving it for any character that might need it. So for now, that's her advice.
Then I slowly extended my right foot into the black void, the nighttime sea. Gravity pulled on my entire body, and I slowly fell forward. I dove into the nighttime sea. The gentle jam, which caused my gravity, was soon accelerating me towards the ground at an incredible pace. I was in freefall with the positions of heaven and earth swapped. An unnatural freefall without any force field manipulation feels the best. My body fell faster and faster. I could never get enough of this sense of acceleration. I was probably getting near the ground, but it feels as though I could sink forever through that black nighttime sea. Part of me wanted to wax poetic, but this was simple vertigo. Some of my mental data, not including sight, left me unaware of the speed and trajectory of my fall, as well as the surrounding terrain and the time to impact.
I can tell he's getting better with his art. It looks very good. The coloring, at least.
The instant before I smashed into the asphalt of the Shudo Expressway, I kicked off the empty air and the ballistic curve of my descent snapped into a right angle. In the vacant space I had launched from, something blossomed, delicately bathed in a white phosphorescence. They floated in the air, incredibly beautiful, almost as though an angel's feathers had been scattered about. Ciconia, when they cry. Gravity no longer bound me. Though my body was that of flesh and blood, it now soared like a swallow. I'll glide solo, I'll be a hair's breadth away from scraping the asphalt of the Shudo Expressway. A train bridge came into sight before me. Across it raced one of those new steam engines, locomotive that just debuted this year. The steam engine is synonymous with the economic revolution and kicked off a wave of technological advancement. It was also the first step towards mechanized technology. I doubt any of the great technological geniuses of the past would have expected to make a comeback to the nuclear age. Of course, though its resemblance an old steam engine, its operating principles is completely different. After coal, then oil, and then the atom, humanity got its hands on a new ultimate fuel. It was called spiritum. When spiritum engines convert energy, they expel large clouds of mist that resemble water vapor. So, the haze of countless spiritum engines' exhaust has become the mark of a massive city. I heavily burst through the vapor, billowing out of that steam locomotive. The forest of skyscrapers awaited me on the other side. All over were buildings of the Victorian Art Nouveau themed designs. I hope that's the right word. Like a scene out of the 19th century. The brick facades and spires were beautiful. The golden glitter of the brass steam pipes tangled over every surface. It's also gorgeous and different. It's very steampunk. There was also Japanese-style electric billboards interspersed throughout it. That slightly twisted yet strangely appealing contrast is the essence of the Tokyo metropolis at night. The city's escape, style, and fashion sense were all reminiscent of the 19th century. However, behind the artistic veneer, celebrating the rebirth of an golden age, lay state-of-the-art inventions that could fairly be called the ultimate in human tech. And at that cutting edge of that cutting edge, it finally became possible for a flesh and blood human to fly like this. Of course, this power is only available to a few people so far. Was one of the lucky enough to enjoy this privilege. Every era and every society is fundamentally crap when you get right down to it. There's one thing I can say. Being granted the ability to fly freely like this makes me glad I was born in this era. Being careful not to fly too high or race through the forest with skyscrapers and billboards. This felt way more like flying than staring down from above did. The newspaper keeps saying we should cut down the number of electric billboards to avoid disrupting the city scenery, but I kinda like this look. Girl Tokyo looked like this since the day I was born. Why should I give a damn about the ancient Tokyo those adults long for so much? This is our Tokyo!
I'm gonna cut it short. And I know this is sudden, and I'm sorry if you're watching this. I would like it to be on the other channel. This may or may not see the light of YouTube day. But if you're happy with wanting to watch someone like me play this game, please hop on over. I will leave a comment on this video on which channel to go to. Thank you if you watched. I'm sorry I had to cut it short again. I do really want to play this game, although, for one, I want to know on the other channel. For two, I want to get everything set up better. It was kind of hastily thrown together. And three, I would like to eat, because that sounds awesome. So thank you guys for watching, and I shall see you another time.